And I think we're live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another exciting edition of Self-Care Sunday. Feels good to be back. Feels good to be back. Last week, some work came up helping a cool company shoot a promo video for a big event that they had last week. This is Blockstack and their token sale. Just a cool group of dudes and people that are building the new decentralized internet. That is what kept me away last week, but I couldn't stay away. We got Tiffany over here. We got new surprises over here. And some more fun like gear stuff if you're here for that. I'm going to do an unboxing in a moment with... is this loud enough, by the way? Wow, so many friendly faces and names and people. Alsha Brown, Angel of Grace 96, Naomi Cotton. Naomi, please correct me if I mess up your names. Thank you, Neris, who I know is asleep right now in Wales and not the UK. If I ever mess stuff up, guys, please correct me. And it's all good. I appreciate that. Shout out to Bridge for bringing stuff to my attention. Rhinosaurus Rex, what up? We have the technology to raise the volume. Oh, guys, this is so exciting. So great to have you back. Paula Chu, Larato, Chris Wislon. Oh, awesome. This is great. Interesting. Chris Wilson can't hear you. Well, Chris Wilson, actually, Mr. Chris Wilson of the UnStuck School, will be joining us in a moment for an interview and a conversation. I'm really excited. This is like a friend of a friend, and really is the power of community. That when I started talking about bringing Focused AF back and just a number of things that have sort of arisen in my life as a priority, especially as some things in my life are completing, winding down, so to speak. I'm not emotional, you're emotional. Chris will be joining us not briefly, in a moment. I have him on the line, but I just wanted to catch up with you guys really quickly first. Mitzrayim in the house, Nanny, Nate Ryder, hello and welcome. Such an awesome ritual. Yeah, that's right, Rena. We're not talking about anything. Gulp. So yeah, why don't I actually just do a brief little studio tour? So I'm just gonna talk louder. Oh, sorry. But I am gonna talk louder. Oh no! That's not what I wanted to do. Sorry, guys. One moment. Video down. Come on. You can do it. Yes, there we go. All right. So this contraption is the top-down table. Whoa, crap. Sorry, guys. Not what it's designed for. Oh, jeez. It's just this cable. It's hard to explain, but the cable's really, really janky and not great, and certainly not meant to be moved around a ton. Please come back. Well, while that's not working, I'm just going to put this back down so that it actually does work. Yes! Haha. Okay. So now that it's down, 1 second, I think that's in focus. Check this out. Okay. There's button. Which one is the button? Yeah. Okay. So I'm pretty sure I'm in frame, and I'm pretty sure you guys should be able to hear me. Like, where is... Whoa! Sorry. Okay. I think that you should be able to see my face. It's hard to tell because it's behind. Anyway, you get the idea. This is showing you the table, so I can do all sorts of cool like tutorial videos. I'm really excited about this. This is a piece I'm working on with Andrew, my roommate, where we modified this little zoom bit, and ultimately we want it to be able to hold a microphone, so you can like clip in and then get the mic. Oh boy, I need a glass of water. But yeah, you get the idea. It'll be like a holster, and there's like a mount that we would have had to rebuild if we weren't just reusing. I'll be right back. Okay. I'm gonna reset up. Not on this desk. I mean, basically to finish up, you can do cool stuff. You can like write on the desk. I have like a whole bunch of paper and things. You can see. That didn't work. Anyway, you get the idea. It's pretty cool. I'm pretty stoked about it. Shout out to Trevor, friend and Wesleyan graduate who's been doing some work with me. Tell me it's coming back online. Let's see. What do I have to do to get this to work? And come on. Yes. Really? Yes. Okay. Boom. Ba-boom. There we go. Alrighty. So now that I'm back here, I want to patch in Chris. How are we going to do this? All right, here's how we're going to do this. So I'm going to patch in. That would be amazing, Mitzrayim, if every time I left, Tiffy was just like, this guy. Can you believe it? It'd be so much better if it was just me, because I'm Tiffany. That's my Tiffany voice. It's been really fun. It sounds like there may be some technical difficulties with Chris, so one moment. What would Self-Care Sunday be without technical difficulties? it would be really nice. Is what it would be, but I don't think it's likely. Okay. And I'm bringing you in, Chris. I'm not sure if I can hear you yet. I probably will once I put on my headphones. Thank you, everybody, for being so patient. Okay, we got this. We got... And let's see. Say anything, Chris? I can absolutely hear you. Can you hear me? Great. You're not on yet. I gotta patch you in. One moment. I can see your cat. Your cat looks like...
Sit on the desk while we do this, I guess.
Okay, and you're live.
Awesome, man.
So great
Happy
to have you on the
Sunday.
show. Indeed.
Yeah.
Really great to have you here.
Yeah, man. I'm glad that this worked out. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you great. 1 second. Say anything.
Hey, I'm Chris, and I like cheese.
Nice. I think you might be a little bit louder than I am.
Okay, cool. Oh, are we drinking coffee straight out of the French press? Oh,
Nope.
water.
Water. It's a dishwashing day, so everything's in the machine. This is what's left, and
I think Chester.
I lost the push part, so it's basically just a giant cup. Aw.
I think Chesterfield knows that there must be a camera or something in the room because he immediately jumped on the table to say hi. So
Nice. Awesome. Well, it's so great to have you on the show, Chris. I think I'm gonna let you introduce yourself first, and maybe what's one fun fact about you?
One fun fact about me.
And first, who are you? Where are you from?
Awesome, guys. Hey, well, I'm Chris Wislon. I'm a creative career and life coach in San Francisco, and I'm buds with Zach. I'm a fellow Self-Care Sunday believer. The fun fact about me is that I grew up in a bed and breakfast.
That's super cool. What?
Yeah.
Wait, but Airbnb wasn't a thing.
No, like a real
Right.
legitimate bed and breakfast.
Right.
No, yeah. Like my dad served breakfast. He still to this day has served breakfast every. There was a point when for 20 years straight he never missed a day serving breakfast.
Wow.
Yeah,
Dude.
He wakes up every single morning.
I don't know if you're looking at the chat, but that's pretty cool. I agree.
I'm not. How do I look at the chat while we do this?
So what you do is you go to the link, and if you need the link, it's on my Twitter.
Okay.
And then you mute the audio on the video, or just pause the video. You
Okay,
can even pop out the chat and close everything else.
Awesome. All right. I'll
and
just
everybody,
go to the Zach Valenti page, and
everybody
you're there.
is loving that Chesterfield. And I think we all can agree that growing up in an Airbnb, I love how that's just tattooed in my brain now that I can't think of a bed and breakfast without.
I grew up in
Airbnb.
Massachusetts, so whoever is just commenting about
Nice.
Massachusetts, that's where I grew up. So,
Son of a man, he looked like a man. I will say live streaming has definitely improved my sight reading.
Yeah, I can only imagine. I'm gonna just focus on you because with the comments going back and forth,
lot.
I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing here. This isn't my comfort zone, but
Great.
It is a Sunday afternoon, so
welcome. The water's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I think one of the things that I loved in connecting with you was just how similar so much of our worldview seemed to be from
I know, man.
the first or second phone call.
Yeah.
and yeah, it was a refreshing conversation, and it was exciting to hear what you were building and sort of where your attention is.
Yeah.
And I so it's I'm just like want to be responsible that I don't set unrealistic expectations. And I'm just like I'm looking to shore up my integrity, and integrity is not morality. It's
Okay.
honoring yourself as your word, and it's important to me that I am a person of my word, and I think that uh, it's not a surprise that I've broken my word, like recently, and not just like one. Like it's not like a big like to do, but like
Yeah.
I just I'm sensitive to uh, managing my
Expect.
promises. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah, it's
man, isn't
important to
that
me.
is a process, right? It's a life commitment route. I feel like it's a daily process to do that.
Oh yeah, and well, so that's for me something that I want to talk about and make more of a part of this conversation, but maybe not Self Care
Yeah.
Sunday, but maybe start adding in maybe more streams next year and maybe a podcast. Like I've been talking a lot about um, the UnStuck universe with you, and I've been
Yeah.
thinking a lot about the focused AF universe that I started earlier this year that I've been talking about bringing back. There's just like a lot of exciting ideas and potential adventures, and where it got really exciting talking to you was in the process that you've been developing,
Hmm.
and a process that I feel like, well, here, I'm going to play a call where somebody called in with the same friggin' issue that I deal with. And I think
Okay.
you'll get a kick out of this, all right?
Awesome.
So, one second. I'm going to pull it up and I'll tell you when to put your mic and. I'm like trying to think how to play it for both of. Oh, one second. I'm trying to think of how we both watch the same YouTube video.
You want me to go look it up?
Crap. One second. I'm now lost in Google Hangouts interface. Oh, there we go.
My girlfriend just walked in too, so that's awesome.
Um, that's awesome. Say hi for me.
Zach says hi.
Hi, Zach.
Hey.
Anna says hi.
Um, so I realized the problem is I'm not sure I can get. It's not a YouTube video. I slip of the tongue. Voice.google.com, the thing that I use for
So what's
call-ins.
the
One sec. I'll play it and I'll summarize it for you. One sec.
Chesterfield?
All right. So I believe this is Ronnie, and I'm going to play Ronnie's message now.
Hello, friends. It's Ronnie again. So I see tonight's episode is about getting unstuck, and Lord, I need help. It's not like I'm
So is
stuck
this
on
like a
one thing.
voicemail
It's
message
like
to you
Yeah.
I have
on the
1,000
helpline?
projects and
Mhm.
potentially are just sitting
Awesome.
there, and I feel bad if I just focus on one. So then I try to focus on all of them, and then nothing gets done. It's like there's so many. I am stuck. Like I'm trying to prioritize and focus on projects that involve other people, but at the same time, said people have upset me and I feel reluctant to work on them. So it's like, hey, I'll just work on something I know I will love. And yet when I'm working on it, it's like, yikes, I am not loving this anymore. So I don't know if you have any tips and tricks or what have you. But cool beans, guys. Take care and such. Peace.
I'm definitely going to have to figure out how to make it so that you could hear that because it's ridiculous. I'll do a good job summarizing it, I promise. But first, Ronnie, thank you for calling in. It just really amazes me the realness of this community, and just I don't know. I don't like spending time on the internet, on like Twitter and like the news and stuff, because it's kind of scary, and there's just like, it's a lot, and it's just really special that this is the conversation that we have, and that the internet can hold both of those. It's interesting to me. So to summarize, to catch you up, Chris, Ronnie called in. So they saw it tonight is about getting unstuck, and Lord, I need help. It's not like I'm stuck on one thing. It's like I have 1,000 projects, and just potentially sitting here, and I feel bad if I just focus on one. So I try to focus on all of them, then nothing gets done. It's like there's so many things to do. I'm stuck, like trying to prioritize and focus and all of that. And it sounds like they're stuck prioritizing focus and projects that involve other people, but at the same time, people have, it sounds like maybe they've had issues working with some people and are reconsidering whether they should or not. So yeah, sounds like they're not having a great time with all that. And is there any tips or tricks? And I guess I don't think either of us pretend to be an expert on any of this. But I definitely think we could have a fun conversation about this stuff.
Yeah, man, let's have it. I think the first thing that I think of without even hearing the voicemail is the first thing I always like to remind myself of is that when we talk about, I was just immediately thinking about living consciously, and what that means to me, and what I was taught to that means is that I think when a lot of us get flustered, or we have lots of things going on, or we feel like we have to make this giant decision, or we have to be able to differentiate between one thing and another, or it's funny because I didn't even hear the voicemail message, right? But I could just tell from your face, from listening to it, that it seemed like it was intense, or this person feels like they have to make a decision, or that by not making a decision, they're not doing a bunch of things that they should be doing. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the thing that
you're right. I also think that. I don't know if that is what's going on for this person's experience,
right.
But I feel like that's right from my experience of just like, I'm torn between all the different things I could be doing and all the different things that I should be doing, or like kind of have to do. And and I guess, what do you have for yourself that maybe has worked?
So the first thing I always want to remind myself of is that living consciously, or being conscious, isn't about being like a monk, or living like some Buddhist lifestyle, or being totally Zen and totally mindful and meditating all the time. It's really about three things. And that's, the first thing is being able to differentiate between facts, emotions, and your interpretation of those things. And for some reason, it's the first thing I always come back to when I'm in this scenario, right? Is because by even bringing this up about having to make a choice, it gets us flustered, right? Like we feel like we have to make a choice, or like by doing one thing, we're not doing the right thing, or by doing another, we have to do something else. And I guess I just like to first like slow down and look at what is in front of me and try to decipher between the facts, my emotions, and my interpretation of that scene or that scenario. And the great thing about this is the more you do this in your life, the more you make time for Self-Care Sunday, the more time you make for a Friday review, the more time you make for a mindful Monday, the better you get at creating context, right? Like the more context you have for your own decision making, right? So I guess that's my, like, how I zoom, my first step to kind of zooming in from up here and getting down into like what I should be focused on right now. Am I making any sense? Is this landing with you?
Yeah, and it occurs to me that we can try to call in Ronnie and just like talk to Ronnie. You want to try that?
Dude, let's do it.
Cool,
Yeah,
1 second.
absolutely.
Give me like 2 seconds. Cue the like 1980s hacker
Yeah.
hacker montage. Dun 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 dun.
This is awesome, by the way.
I'm glad you're having fun. This
I
is
literally remember how I was like, welcome to our internet living room. I feel
Yeah.
like we're in each other's internet living room right now. It's awesome.
I'm wiring my living room so that I can literally do live streams in it. Like I got a bunch of Ethernet cable to just like run line through my house. It's funny you mentioned internet living room, but yeah, no, I love this venue.
By the way, I'm getting a ticket tonight to New York for December, so we'll have to share some dates for when I'll be in New York. Maybe we can use that living room for a live stream of sorts.
Thumbs up is if you yep, thumbs up.
So while we do this, did we want to talk about anything like wayfinding or any other of the cool topics that you had? Did you set any other intentions for today's?
Yeah, one second. I can only sort of do so many things at once.
Oh,
just see if I
yeah.
can call this
Totally.
person in. Ronnie, we're calling.
Hello?
Hey, Ronnie.
Oh my God, hi.
Hey, it's Zach Valenti calling.
I'm sorry, what was that? The phone cut out.
Oh, it's Zach Valenti calling.
Oh my gosh, no way. I totally thought it was Jesus or something, you know?
Come on. How are you?
Sorry, I know. I've been better. I'm having a day, but it's okay.
Okay. Chris is on the line. Chris Wislon. I don't know if you were just watching.
Hey, Ronnie.
Hi, yeah, I was totally watching. You're like, oh, let's call Ronnie. It's like, oh boy, I swear to God, I'm not lying in bed right now.
Well, so yeah, I guess first I just want to, before we jump into answering the question that you had in the past, is there anything that you just want to clear or talk about first?
Well, when it comes to the podcast project I mentioned, this was my full cast podcast that sort of started falling through because nobody was coming to rehearsal, and now they're all like, hey, we want to show up to rehearsal this time, and it's like, I'm still mad, and I don't know how to tell you this without, like, unleashing the floodgates and being upset and scaring people. So we'll give it a go, but if people don't show up this time, then we'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
So that's that, and it's a blast.
I see what you did there
So,
with that
yeah.
That irony.
Yes, I am really
sarcasm.
Yeah.
I always mix those up.
Yeah, it's fine, no worries. So yeah, that's that thing.
Well, thanks for like, I don't know, being real about it. Yeah.
Oh, it's fine.
I think Chris has something to say.
Hey, Ronnie.
Hello, hi, Chris.
Hey, how's it going? I didn't get to hear your voicemail, but the first question I have for you is, you said, have you told them how you feel yet?
I have told them that I was upset, but I didn't really get into it because I have issues dealing with my anger where I get mad and I yell and then I have to come back behind myself and apologize, and I hate doing that. So I'm kind of like not letting go of all of it at the same time. So I'm just trying to make myself deal with that because I don't want to be terrible and yell at them. So
I have another question. So what are your rules of engagement with the group, with the team that you're on?
The rules of engagement mean I'm the writer person, but it's very much like a group effort. Like everybody's putting in like 100%, and it was just kind of expected. Like, hey, I'll email everybody and let everybody know when we're doing rehearsal. I'll try to make sure tonight that everybody has said that they have open, and if you don't show up within like 30 minutes, we'll either go on without you, or if it's someone who is featured in the episode a lot, we'll kind of like try to reschedule. But it got to the point where no one was telling me things, no one was contacting me or saying, hey, I'll be there, or hey, I can't be there. And everybody was getting their time zones mixed up, which is like, hey, we kind of ironed this out the first time we did rehearsal, but I suppose this can be an issue that just plagues us for the rest of existence.
Mm.
So, yeah.
Zach, I don't want to take over the call, but where did you want to go from here?
Well, I mean, I think.
How can we help?
Well, right. I just wanted to jump into the first half, because I think the thing with the other people, I have something for that, but I just like I want to chat for a sec about the choosing between different things.
Mm.
Yes.
Could you guys maybe Ronnie, could you like how can we help you, just because I didn't hear the call, so I feel a little bit left out.
No, it's okay. The original question was like, I have 1,000 other projects that are happening all at once. Like I have so many things I'm writing, so many like physical things that I'm working on. I have like grad school applications and so many things I want to accomplish and get done within, my singular self and singular day. But every time I try to focus on one, I feel like I'm neglecting everything else. And then when I try to focus on all of it at once, nothing gets done. And it's like I am filled with so much potential, and yet I can get nowhere.
Yeah.
All right.
And that's like something that I just so deeply relate with. And I think the way I've been thinking about it lately is to just get sort of maniacal about making lists and running the lists by my like sort of people, just the folks that I know I want to work with, and the folks that know what I want out of life maybe better than I do, to just start like crossing things off for me. So I've just been like enlisting people to politely tell me, not that. Okay, that one's okay, right? Like, so that's one thing that I just wanted to share with you, that I'll report back, but it's been at least entertaining, and I think it's useful because it's led to a couple of no's that I think have given me more time and made me more reliable in ways that I want to be. So that's pretty much all I want to say about that. You got anything else about that, Chris?
Yeah, I wonder, like, how do you guys decide what matters?
Like me personally, or like within the separate podcast thing, or just like...
It's a great, awesome, clarifying question. So when you're making a choice between these thousands of projects, what is the variable that matter? Do you have like a variable or an attribute that matters to you, or a value, right? That matters to you to make those choices over how I say yes or how I say no? Or when I say yes or no?
Well, you're fine. There's two, actually. There's time, of course, because like some of these things are applications to, doctoral programs that kind of need to get done. So it's like, hey, I should get on that. And then the other factor, I suppose, is just like, how much will I enjoy this, even if it is hard work? Like, I am a writer by trade. I have gone to school for so many years, and I enjoy writing. But there are some things that I enjoy writing and some things that I do not enjoy writing. So when I think of projects, it's like, okay, what will be fun here that I can write and what will not be fun. And if there's too many not fun things, it's like, okay, I guess that's not happening today or not happening ever because it's not going to be fun. But I know that's not like a correct way of looking at things, I suppose. But it's just kind of like I am kind of floundering for things to do, and it's like if it's not fun, it's not going to get done.
So you're floundering for things to do, like you
Like,
can't find enough things to do?
well, it's not that I can't find them. It's just like I have to, like, I have 10 things that are on the list to do, and it's like, okay, what's going to be the most fun to do because they all need to get done at some point, and I'll do the most fun stuff now, and then I'll make myself do the not as much fun stuff later, like, you know, applications. But then it's just like I feel bad if I focus on one thing instead of trying to have 10 tabs open and working on all of them at once. So it's like I'm trying to figure out how to direct my focus and make myself work on, you know, the things that are for me and, you know, trying to, you know, go out and get published and get stuff out there instead of not doing those things and just sitting in bed and staring at the ceiling.
So it's like an all or nothing.
Yes. Ish. I'm like really terrible at being a person sometimes, so it's like fantastic.
So how can we help you today?
Just, I mean, how do you like get unstuck and make yourself move forward on something? I mean, you obviously don't think, oh, hey, what will be the most fun today and get it done. So how do you make yourself move forward when you have multiple things to do?
Well, first, I don't think about it in terms of fun, but I definitely think about it in terms of what brings me joy, right? Because I think it's really important to listen to that voice of what brings you joy, because that's the route or the path to your vocation, right? Or your calling or whatever it is you do. And jobs have nothing to do with what brings you joy, because a job is created by someone else to get a specific thing done. And it doesn't necessarily have to make you happy, right? So if I'm making a decision about what I'm doing for a job, then it's really within the context of the job, right?
Yeah.
But if I'm talking from a perspective of managing my life or managing my career, and trying to merge my life and my career with my vocation, which would be like my calling and what brings me joy, I mean, that's a longer term process. And I think that listening to the things that are fun, right? Like, because things can be fun, but then at a certain point you lose energy and they're no longer fun, right? But how am I being when I am acting joyful? And like the way that I express joy is I express joy by I look to like ways that I'm acting and example stories that I have. And like for me, it would be bringing a group of people together and then being in the back of the room, seeing those people get together. Like I don't tend to be a guy that wants to be on stage. That kind of gets me a little nervous. But some people, it might bring them joy to be alone in a room writing a paper for a weekend, completely alone with a white sheet of paper and like a pen and just producing something of value to them, right? And so it's how am I being when I'm being joyful? And then when it comes to like prioritizing between all of those different projects that I have or opportunities that I have, I'd say the first thing is limiting the number of. I think this alludes to Zach. Like Zach, your new level of awareness around rules of engagement and boundaries with what you say yes to.
Can you unpack rules of engagement for people who may not know what
Sure.
you mean when you say that?
Sure. So every time you say yes to someone, you're saying yes to a commitment. Right? Like you are giving a part of yourself to that person, and you only have so much time, energy, and money and mental power to go to put into these projects. And so I think a lot of times that's why saying no is so powerful, is because it allows you to say yes to 4 other things when you say no to one thing. Does that make sense? And I think rules of engagement is like the next level down. It's how do I engage with the people that are in my community around me, right? Like maybe the 5 or 7 people that I work with.
Right. So right. So I just want to check in with Ronnie.
Yeah.
Does that track? Is there anything that you're getting or thinking about or questions?
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, Ronnie. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
No. I think we interrupted. Yeah.
Sorry, I think that part of the call might clipped out. I didn't hear what you were saying.
Oh. So it's out. Where do you know where you cut out? I just want to make sure.
No, I heard you talking about the rules of engagement, and then you cut out, and they're like, "Yeah, Ronnie." It's like, "Yeah."
Got it.
I mean, if we have a few more minutes, I would love to hear more specifically, like what the challenges are, what the questions are that you're having to the problem is that you're trying to solve, Ronnie.
Well, the ultimate problem is, I suppose, that I am just trying to move forward with what I know how to do best and work on my writing and work on all these personal projects. But at the same time, I'm also dealing with outside variables such as my day job, which is constantly asking more hours of me, and family life, which is also asking more hours of me. And I'm trying to divide my day into portions in which I can focus on things for myself, but that window is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And I'm trying to not drive myself crazy with working on things for me. So I'm just trying to figure out how to, yeah.
Okay, so this is awesome. Great portrayal. So this is the way that I think about these things is I think a lot of the times we think that when we compartmentalize, we'll do better, right? So it's like, I'm going to put work in a box. I'm going to put my community in a box. I'm going to put myself in a box. I'm going to put my family in a box, and they're all going to be siloed off and protected. But the problem is like, that's not how life works, right? In the whirlwind of life, when we go about our life, everything gets really messy. And so when you're making these decisions, the question, I know Zach loves this, but like the 3 words to create a growth mindset, right? Like, how can I merge my work? The 4 major zones of my life are my work, my community, myself, and my family. And so whenever I'm looking at this type of thing, I like to ask, like, how can I focus on something that tries to get at least 3 of the 4 at once? Right? So like, what communities are important to me in my time? And then can I also get stuff for me from that community? And can I merge my work with it? Or can I get self-care while I'm at work and include my family? Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope this was helpful. I could talk about this, ask more and more questions. So.
No, I'm trying to think how I can properly combine those, like kind of mesh it together so I can, accomplish multiple, tasks at once. Mm-hmm. Like, hanging with the family while I'm trying to work on this chapter, or, not dying while I'm at work. One fun thing, though, I have to mention, though, is that I do work at a restaurant as a server/bartender, so it's not like I can do too much, personal work while I'm there, unless it's really slow, and then I'm not making money, so it's like a double-edged sword.
Do you aspire to, do you aspire for that to be your career, or do you want your career to be something else?
I don't really know what I really want my career to be. I want to focus on writing. I want to do something with publishing or being published. That's why the grad school applications are coming in, because I'm hoping to go get my PhD, and then I can get extra hardcore published there. Mm-hmm. But we'll see how that goes. I mean, my ultimate dream is to work a job where I get to hang out and help people make their writing better, and not have to ask somebody, hey, would you like marinara sauce or meat sauce for your spaghetti tonight?
Right.
So
Sounds like a great, how can I get a job that allows me to merge my passion for writing and helping people? Sounds like a great challenge.
it is the ultimate challenge.
I bet you can do that.
Well, it's the plan. There's multiple ways to get to it, and I'm trying to hit all paths at the same time so I can try to cover my bases, and hopefully one will get through. So
Totally.
that's the goal, because all of my applications are due December 15th, and that's fastly approaching.
Is there a way that you can still merge those identities without waiting for school?
I mean, I have sort of started something where I have like a separate podcast where I just sit and talk about books, and I was thinking about doing something of like bringing writing into the equation where I have people like submit stuff and then we talk about writing and whatnot. But I know that might be a little impersonal, I suppose, if we do like a whole podcast themed about like one person's writing and they get broadcasted everywhere. I know not everyone's gonna like dig that whole scene. And I've considered, like, you know, hey, I'm open for commissions if you want me to edit your short story or your fan fiction or whatever. But once again, I don't know how many people would kind of go for that because yeah.
I mean, that's a job. I just heard you talk about editing short stories for people. That is an incredibly valuable skill.
It is, but I don't know how to reach enough people where I would get enough people to, you know, come to me for that job. But
you're
that's
podcasting.
the fun part. I am podcasting. I have probably like 10 whole listeners.
Just saying, it starts with 10.
I'm nodding to Zach right now.
I'm just saying, every podcast starts with 0 listeners.
I know. I'm just, I interact with so many people that expect things to be like free or cheap, and it's like, that's great, and I appreciate that, and I know that we live in a really consumer-based society, and not everybody has money, but at the same time, I'm not going to edit your 50-page short story for $10, you know?
Right.
Yeah, and you have value, right? And it starts with valuing yourself, right? Because you can't, your relationship with money and your relationship with valuing your own time is probably the biggest barrier to getting paid for those editing skills.
Yep.
Yeah. But it starts with one. You can do like honestly, like if you sent out a few emails, if you sent out 10 emails to people that you knew write a lot, and you said, hey, if you need editing help, here's my hourly rate, or here's my per page rate. I bet you could get 10% return rate. I bet you could get 1 out of 10 emails to reply back and say, I got a job for you.
All right, I'd give it a go. I'd give it a go to make words work.
That's awesome. So what you just did right now, I just want to point out what you just did. Like, I call all the stuff we talked about to get to that the whirlwind of life, right? So like in our life, there's the whirlwind, the normal, regular pattern of life where it's just absolutely crazy. And I think that's the same for everyone. But the people, like what Zach was alluding to before, is being able to see through that whirlwind and really be able to be clear through the whirlwind about what are my priorities and what are the projects that are important to me. And the thing is that only gets harder to do because the more popular you get, like Zach is right now, the more people are going to ask you for your time. Right? Yeah, but Zach, how many more people are asking you to do projects now?
It's a thing.
It's a thing, right? And the thing is I think more people will ask you to do projects before that stuff is paying you anything or giving you funds to be able to support building a team or anything like that. So I really think the most important skill we can all learn is that ability to when we return home to our bedside and we're quiet on a Sunday, is to regroup and think, what is the one thing I could do this week that would help me with my priorities, right? And that's what you did just now. You were like, I want to make money with my writing. I'm working in a restaurant. I've got a podcast, I've got like 10 listeners, I've got family commitments, I've got all these things, but I could send 10 emails and try to get a job that pays me $150 per job to merge my writing and my part-time work, right? And that's what you just did. So I think it's awesome.
Yay! I did something productive.
That's dope. And yeah, if you embark on this adventure and want to come back next week or the week after, you let me know. I'd love to have you back on. Yeah, if you just like call in to the same number, I'll know to call you back.
Oh yeah, yeah, totally. Yeah, yeah.
That would be awesome.
No, I'm trying to. I'm trying to be like, yeah, totally, but then it's just like I work next Sunday, so I won't be able to call in. It'll have to be the Sunday after.
It can be the Sunday after. We can also set up if you DM me on Twitter, we can set up another time to do like a pre-recorded thing if you prefer.
Oh gosh, I don't want to draw you guys out that bad. Come on now.
Just saying. Just saying. I mean,
I want to hear about those emails.
Yes, Chris. God, Mom.
That would make me happy, Chris.
Oh, so
All
much
right.
bad vibes. It's great. Really great to have you on, Ronnie. The only thing I'll add to that fantastic conversation, which was just, I really appreciate you coming on the show, Chris.
Yeah, man.
And Ronnie, I just so acknowledge you, because the thing that I don't know if you get, both of you, is that conversation doesn't stop with the two of you. There are people in the chat the whole time been like, whoa, I so relate to this problem. And they just saw you model a reliable, so if a technology is just something that does something expected reliably, and it doesn't need to have batteries, then you just modeled a sort of like brain technology. I don't know, conversational technology that I think is a really great way to live a life that is closer to if you were, able to write your life down and then it would go that way, closer to a first choice.
Yeah, man.
So yeah. And
I mean, the thing that I think is important to recognize for anyone who's listening or watching right now is that this stuff is a skill, right? Like, it is a skill. It's not a gift. It's not something you're born with. It's something that you learn and you develop.
And like going to the gym, it's not always comfortable.
Yeah. Yeah. But you can get better at it.
True.
Yeah. The one thing that I wanted to add to all that is in the sort of that feeling of separateness where it's like, ooh, I got to get in family time and then school time and then this time and then that time and then his time and then her time and then their time and then all the time except my time. I read a story somewhere and I've lost the citation, but I'll put it in the notes if I remember. And it boiled down to a very, very busy man feeling exactly that way until one day somebody told him, it's all your time. And something snapped in his brain. And the next time that he was with his kid, instead of going, this is kid time, because he caught himself being like, damn it, like, where's my time? And then was like, wait, what if I just choose that this is my time?
Mm-hmm.
And in a short order of like 2 weeks, every single second of his time, his schedule didn't change at all.
Mm-hmm.
But every second of his time was his time.
Yep.
From washing the dishes, to doing the taxes, to petting the cat, to, like fulfilling whatever dream it is you have. Or not. It's all like, and it's just a choice, and it's not the truth. Like, nothing that I will ever say is the truth. And it's just a way to look at it and try it on. If it doesn't fit, put it back on the rack, and it's no harm, no foul. Is that clear?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Thank you. I'm glad. Pleasure talking with you, Ronnie.
But
Anything else you want to
oh,
share, or anything you want to say before we say goodnight?
just thank you guys for calling me back. I apologize. I was like laying in bed, and it was like, oh no, I should be prepared. I should have notes, and it's like, no,
This is
just
Self Care
let it
Sunday.
happen.
You were doing it right.
Ronnie, you're doing it right. You're fine.
Oh God, I hope so.
Hashtag doing it right.
But yeah, thanks for calling and stuff, and yeah.
Awesome. Happy emailing. Happy being in bed. And we'll talk to you soon.
All right, you guys take care. Talk to you later.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Awesome. So I guess
That was real,
amazing.
man. Yeah.
Ronnie, thank you for just being amazing. And like one thing that I want to acknowledge you for is a distinction called being coachable, which is where you bring your life to somebody in a non-therapeutic context to just take a look at what is possible. Like if you were a pro athlete and like we're trying to run faster, you'd watch back tape of you running with your coach and they'd point out where to position your feet to get the most economy of movement. It would be uncoachable to hear that from your whatever your coach said and go, meh, maybe, or like, I don't know about that, versus like, okay, I'll try it on. And like you so did that, and that's awesome. I think that's a really cool way to be, and it's a way to get value from somebody like Chris here, who usually, like you have a paid consulting bit, right? Like you get hired to have conversations like these.
Yeah, I wouldn't even call them conversations as much as just listening and
Coaching,
helping people
right.
think through. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it's a coaching conversation.
Yeah.
Is what I'd call it. But yeah.
Yeah, the beginning of one.
I just think it takes something to be vulnerable. It takes something to be open. It takes something to work on yourself.
To make that phone call.
To just pick up the phone to begin with, and then to show up to the call and to walk off the call with something that you can do that is like, there's like sort of no downside. And you'd be surprised how few people are just ready to jump in like that. And I think it's really cool. And so I just wanted to acknowledge you for that, Ronnie.
Yeah, me too, man. I mean, Ronnie, you did great. That was awesome.
Awesome. So Chris, I think because of how late with the technical stuff, I wanted to talk to you more about your story and how you got to be the coach that you are, and sort of what we're thinking about doing soon. I think maybe if we could get like a just 4-sentence bio of how basically just like what are the broad strokes of like how you came to be in the position you're in now, founding the UnStuck school. And then let's just share before we say goodnight. I'm not going to do the unboxing just because it's gotten a little late. But yeah, just we could share about what we're planning and all that.
Yeah, man.
Cool. And then I have a couple.
All right, let's see if I can do the 4-sentence bio.
And then after that, the last thing will be we're going to talk about Rice Ember. Folks who are doing that, stick around.
All right. Didn't go to college. That's the first sentence. Didn't go to college. Took the path less traveled. Worked in high performance startups with awesome sales teams and people that had gone to really good schools and done all the right things. And then learned about wayfinding and decision making and
Wayfi-
interrogative self-talk.
Wayfinding is, interrogative self-talk is, just, yeah.
All right, so these are all things that I would put under a label of productive thinking techniques, or skills that you can learn when you have an amazing manager that changes your life, or a person in your life who acts as a mentor who has learned it from someone else. And I think uh, when I started my working in startups with people who seemed on the outside to have it all together, the biggest thing that I noticed was um, how amazing it is to have somebody in your life who, it's not a superficial relationship, where they're really doing what, imagine what Ronnie just did, right? She just reached out to us to talk about a problem, something that she's dealing with, and she got her head on straight, and she's focused on seeing through the whirlwind, focused on one thing that she can do, so that you can take one small step. And
Yeah,
I guess that was my short bio.
Awesome. Awesome. Sorry to interrupt. I'm not sure. Ronnie, apologize if we're not using the correct pronouns. I don't know them.
Oh, yeah.
No, and it's cool. It's just something that I've learned from like a combination of you guys and Twitter and people in my life, and it's something
Absolutely.
that I appreciate having slowed down for. But yeah, I love that. That was a great summary, and I would love to hear more about. Can you share about the UnStuck school and sort of just like
Yeah.
the what inspired you to take that on?
I think that what inspired me to take that on.
Like what is it first, and then what
Yeah.
inspired you to make it so number one?
Feel stuck. You feel like you're trapped. You feel like you're alone. You feel like you have to make the right decision. And that makes the entire experience of feeling stuck, whether it's in your life or your career or relationship, it makes it a negative experience, right? Like, but if you look at that as that you or your environment are changing, it becomes a learning experience, and it's all about self-directed learning and learning these different skills. And I just think that these are the most important things you can learn to manage your career and your life. And I think for me, the big thing was realizing and learning that there are in fact skills you can learn to get unstuck in your career and life. And it comes down to that's why I quit my job and making way more money than I do right now in software sales, to go to work with people one on one and to build programs and that help people, that really help people learn this stuff.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, man.
It's that kind
I
of.
mean, I think it comes down to like why we met, and all of our conversations just hit off so fast, right, man? I mean, it's just like self-care Sunday, taking this time for yourself and being an example for others to show them that, I mean, what you're doing, a lot of people would be really nervous and scared to do. They'd have to clean up the space behind them. They would have to know what they're going to talk about. They would have to have a script. All of these things that just increase anxiety and this feeling that you can't be real. And I think in a way you're mimicking what those mentor relationships are like for people behind closed doors that no one gets to see, right? Like you're bravely showing your heart, being courageous, and showing people that it's okay to talk about taking care of yourself.
Thanks, Chris. Appreciate that.
Yeah, man. Of course.
Um,
That's why I'm so excited to design our year together.
yeah. Right on time. So basically one of the things that I really got excited about when Chris and I first started nerding out just like a couple months ago, um, was this idea of designing your year. and I don't know about you guys, but I definitely had a New Year's resolution for this year. I don't remember it. And like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's like kind of par for the course. It's either some, I do, so one of the ones that I had was being ready to run the marathon next year, which I can't do because I, whatchamacalls it, was, like injured my IT bands in a half marathon. I could have fit it in. It just like became not a priority. But like that's the thing is like it was sort of a haphazard goal of just like why do I even want to run a marathon? I think to get stronger, but like there's so many ways to do that. I just joined a circus gym over the weekend. If you follow me on Instagram, I did a story about it, and I'll be back there tomorrow night. So yeah, if you want to see circus shit, I guess follow me on Instagram. But yeah.
But Zach, like I think your example of the marathon is so perfect.
Right.
Our
I'm curious to hear
relationship.
how that is a pattern that like I assume that's a pattern that you've seen as a coach.
Oh, oh yeah, yeah. And I think the biggest mistake we make is the worst. The thing that makes me so sad to see is that people um, will beat themselves up and put this entire negative story on the fact that they lost track of this goal that they weren't internally connected to or motivated to do, and they didn't really understand why they said it.
Hmm.
But what I love about what you just did is you just talked about how you joined this circus gym and you lit up, right? Like you got excited. And because it was goofy and real and cool, and there was something about that. And as a coach and as somebody that is constantly working on my relationship with my goals personally, I want to point out that what you had that's important is you had an aspiration, right? Like you wanted, what did you want? What made you want to run a marathon?
Yeah, I think mostly that I was not getting enough physical activity and was sort of losing my mind and just needed to
Cool.
like last time that happened, I started running and it helped.
Cool. So I think if you have a vague relationship with your goals, somebody might call that a goal, right?
Uh
Like the
huh.
goal is to run a marathon. But what sticks around longer is the aspiration. That's the thing that's inside of you that sticks around even when the goal goes away,
Hmm.
right? And
What's an
you still
example?
you're an example. You want to be fit, right? And you're still doing a gym.
So,
You're now
right.
going to
So
a different
just
gym instead of the
slowing down a little bit. So it's like the goal was running a marathon. The aspiration was being healthy.
fit, being fit and healthy. And
Okay.
you thought, how can I be fit and healthy? Oh, I'll run a marathon,
Cool. Right.
right?
So, and what you're
Yeah.
saying is that like basically before I commit to a goal, I should get clear about the aspiration and then get sort of interested in what's the best goal to meet the aspiration.
Uh, I don't know if there's a before or after as much as an awareness.
Uh,
Like, I want you to be steadfastly aware of your aspiration so that when you approach the goal, you you can judge the difference between this goal is just not a fit with my aspiration,
right.
right? Because if I wanted to get fit, there's a lot of things that go into maintaining a goal. Like, do I get enjoyment out of it? Am I having fun? Am I motivated? Right? Like all of these things matter more than willpower, right? Like
Right.
to just go out and run. And I think what happens is a lot of us will kind of pick, I call them tack on goals. So this is a goal that
Right.
we haphazardly pick.
It's like the candy at at the cash register.
Yeah, like we see other people doing it, right? And that's a great way to get inspired, right? Like why not, right? You find out that you see somebody running a marathon, they look like they're having fun, and you're like, I'm going to go do this, right? I want to go hang out with those people. But then I think the people that actually maintain showing up to go to those workouts, if you ask them why they do it, I almost guarantee that they're going to say things like, I like the community, my friends do this, it's fun, it's enjoyable, or they have a purpose in there, right? There's like some internal driver that's connecting them to this goal. And if, and so I just wanted to point out, when you said, well, now I'm going to this gym, you washed away the first goal and you found another one.
Right.
And I want you to bring awareness to the fact that you have this other thing that you're not even calling a goal, but you're doing it.
Right. And I guess it sounds to me like it's useful to distinguish one's aspirations in this model.
Yeah, because you're going to wash through a lot of goals before you find the one that fits.
Right. And I think it's like a hire fast, fire fast policy with goals. So it's like, it sounds like what I'm hearing is that if one wants to change their goal, they're not a bad person. They're just intelligently pivoting to fulfill on the larger umbrella, like sort of contextual, like, right, like the aspiration is what matters, and the goal is only interesting insofar as it serves the aspiration. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and I think the most important thing is not whether or not you achieve your goals. The most important thing is not the outcome of achievement or success. The most important thing to me is that you show up regularly to review your life, and if you're happy, if you're fulfilled, right, to look at those aspirations and look at your actions and to have that relationship with your goals, right? And if you have this, if you have a very pass fail relationship with your goals, where you're afraid to look at them, or it's not fun, or you're afraid of showing up to even talk about it, well, then you're only going to want to do that when you're energized and you have willpower, and you're going to want to hide from them, right? Like, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting. One of the things I learned when I lived in a dorm with a bunch of students that were in non-traditional education programs. And one of the programs was this program called UnCollege. And when the students would come in, they were taking what I called a year on in life. So they were between high school and college. And they were learning how to go through their own wayfinding process, which is, we can talk about wayfinding in a little bit, but they were learning how to design their life, design their year, and build a relationship with their goals. And when you asked one of the students to set their goals, a lot of them didn't get it. They were like, wait, well, what do you mean? Like, what should my goals be? Can they be anything? And they would kind of play a game. They would be like, well, can I make a goal to play Xbox as much as I want? Or can I make a goal to eat cheeseburgers every day this week? And you're like, yeah, go for it. Awesome. Right. And then they would come back and they would realize that, like, I'm the one that gets to take ownership of my goals and my time and how I spend my energy and my time. And all of a sudden, then it would be like, well, do I want to keep that goal of playing Xbox, or am I actually interested in video games and I want to do something else? And all of a sudden, I call this the blue sky effect of self-directed learning, is when you get bored, you kind of land on what you're curious about, or what you're inspired to learn more about, or what you want to tinker on. And if you go to traditional education, or if you go to industrial education program, or you go through normal school, all of those goals are being given to you, right? Like, you're being told, like, you need to do this to get to this, you need to do this to get to that, right? And you don't necessarily have to build this relationship with goal setting that serves you.
Cool. So what is exciting is that we're gonna be running a pilot program, basically, sort of an experiment of the process.
Yeah, well,
right. Do you want to tell them a little bit about that?
Yeah. I mean, what I would say is that the three of us, you, me, and my friend Mike Sagan, who is also a coach here in San Francisco,
Who you guys are
we're gonna build a relationship with our goals, and we're gonna go through a designing our year process, and we are gonna do this. You're gonna be in New York. I'm gonna be here in San Francisco, and Mike's gonna be in Oakland, and we want to share this process with you guys, right? And it's more or less a beta. I've done this a lot with a bunch of different age groups, everyone from 18, 19 years old up to 65 years old. I've tested this out with a lot of different people, and I do this in my own life. And we're coming up on January, and then I met Zach, and I was like, here's a guy where he can bring me into the world where I'm uncomfortable, because this is not where I feel safe and secure on the internet talking over YouTube. So this is pretty scary to me, but my goal was to learn, my wildly important goal for the year was to learn how to teach online. And I wanted to take what we were doing in a workshop setting where I feel comfortable to be with someone in the real world face to face. I wanted to learn how to bring that process and that programming online. And so I met Zach, and he made me comfortable enough to do this and to hang out on a Sunday and just be real, and to learn how to use all this technology stuff that scares the living crap out of me. And so now we're going to spend the month of December, and we're going to get clear about our year and come up with what our goals are. And yeah, do you want to talk about the process a little bit, or what we're going to do? Or
we don't have time.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I was going to say
it's I need to go to sleep, late. But I think that I should have Mike come on.
Yeah,
I have a
specific, the three of us should jump on.
I just want to have Mike on next week for something dumb, a new segment that I need to get his permission if he's interested in doing it. But it's called Daddy Issues, and it involves a really fun video game that everybody has demanded that I play more of. And I think it would be a little bit more focused on LGBTQ issues.
Awesome!
And we can have the three of us come back in a couple weeks. But yeah, I should talk to him about that. Remind me that we do. Right. Yeah, we'll make that happen.
All right. Well, it's getting late, so I can let you go.
Yeah. This has been awesome. So great having you on, Chris. And I think people really appreciated all the conversations that we got to have. So yeah.
But if they're interested in participating,
yes,
if they want, they can comment, I guess, on YouTube, and or send you a private message and say that they're interested.
Right. I think there's a couple of ways you can let me know if you want to participate in the sort of beta that we're doing, and at least just like learn more information. You can certainly DM me on Twitter or email me at zach@uplift.is. It's a little bit more complicated if you just like comment I'm interested in the perma video. I know we're live now, and also shout out to the people watching this not live. Hello. But yeah, I think DM or email would probably be the best way.
Yeah. And if they want, they can head over to unstuckschool.com and fill out the form there. The form may be up right now, but it may not be. Either way, contact Zach, let him know that you're interested, and we're going to be kicking off on December 1st together.
Right.
And we'll be planning everything out that we're going to be doing here over the next couple of weeks.
And and basically just so that people aren't left with like, but what is it? This is the designing your year, where I'm really excited to look at like, as something big in my life is wrapping up and I have a lot more free time coming up, like how do I want to spend it? How do I want to invest my attention, which I think is the most valuable thing about being human. And so I'm really excited to explore something new. Obviously never done this before because it's never been done before. Not like, just this specific one, not like, things in general. But anyway.
Yeah. I mean, the four things we're going to do are we're going to connect with who we are. We're going to design, we're going to visualize the next 5 years and some different ideas that we have for our life. and then we're going to get down into the specifics of what our year was like this year and see if we can pull any learnings from that. And then we're going to set 10 effective goals for the new year. And then we're going to walk through a goal washing process of how to build a relationship with those goals.
Awesome.
Cool.
Well, thank you, Chris, for being on. And thank you, everybody, for being a part of Self Care Sunday. I just can't help but feel that this and Focused AF and Calm AF and like just sort of this like side of my life that came out of doing Wolf 359 is just one of the coolest things that's different about my life than it was before I started podcasting. And so it's just a real privilege to get to be with you guys every week. And I look forward to this, and I appreciate you. And thanks.
Thanks, Zach.
Yeah. You have a YouTube channel and stuff. Do you want people to follow you somewhere?
Sure. They can find me, Chris Wislon, at UnStuck School.
Chris Wislon at UnStuck School. So yeah, it's been real. Ariel Lee, Angel of Grace 96, Alicia Workman, Rhinoceros Rex. Thank you. And peace out.
Good night, guys.